Hello, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this video. My name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher, and today is Mindful Monday. In this video, doesn't matter what day you're watching, but in this video, I am going to guide you through the 8 steps of the Zentangle Method of drawing. I believe it is truly magic, and it can bring you all kinds of things. It can bring you some zen, some calm. It gives you an opportunity to slow yourself down a little bit. And today we're going to focus on being in this moment, mindfulness. We're going to not concern ourselves with what happened before. That's already passed. We are not worried about what's happening next because we're not there yet. We are simply going to focus on this moment, and as we draw today, we're going to focus on one stroke at a time. So there are 8 steps to the Zentangle method of drawing, and we're going to jump right in with step 1, gratitude and appreciation. In step 1, I am going to take you through a brief breathing exercise. And if you're sitting, sit up straight and get comfortable. And we're going to breathe in and get tall, and breathe out and relax down as we exhale. So if you're ready, let's begin. Breathing in, get tall, and breathe out. And just let your shoulders drop. And again, breathing in. And out. One final breath in. And out. And just let yourself fall into a natural breathing rhythm. Breathing in and breathing out. Just relax into this moment. And thoughts will pop in. It's just your brain doing its job. It's intended to think, but we don't want it thinking right now. So as thoughts come in, simply acknowledge them and let them pass by. And then focus your attention back to your breath. And now think of something that you're grateful for. Once you have it, I want you to really feel into that gratitude. What does gratitude feel like? And remember this feeling. And as we draw today, if you reach a point where you just need a little break, stop yourself. Take a big breath in and exhale. And remember that feeling of gratitude. Hold it for a moment. And then you'll be ready to begin again. And that is all there is to step 1. Now I take you through a breathing exercise, but if you're doing this alone, you don't have to get that crazy. Just take a few deep breaths before you begin. Think of something you're grateful for, and then start drawing. Okay, step 1 is behind us. And before we move on to step 2, I want to remind you there are no mistakes. So don't fear whether this is your first time or your 50th time. It's all good. There are no mistakes. I'm going to be drawing on a 3.5-inch Zentangle tile. It's my favorite tile. I'm going to be using my Micron PN pen today. PN for plastic nib. It's got a little wider nib, and it's a little sturdier for my heavy hand. I'm also going to use a pencil. Any pencil will do, and a tortillon or something to blend my graphite with. So step 2, we're going to need our pencil, and we are going to put a dot in each of the 4 corners of our tile. Step 3 is to create a border using those dots, connecting them. And step 4 is our string. Now, the string I want to draw today is going to be a line with some loops. It doesn't matter where the loops are or how big they are. So I've got 3 loops, which is a pretty good number of loops. And I'm done with my pencil. That is my string. Now what we've done here with our string is make some spaces within our border to put our tangles. So that's all that we're using our string for. So I'm picking up my pen now. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to aura the string that I just drew. So I am going to start here. And I'm going to slowly aura this string. And I'm going outside the border where the line goes outside the border. And I'm not crossing over with this aura. It's going on the outside of my string line. Now I'm going to go on the other side of the string and aura that. Okay, so I have got the outside of the string line and the inside, but now I'm going to do inside these loops. Okay, so there's our string. Our string has all these auras on it. And I'm going to do something a little interesting. Well, I think it's interesting. I am going to draw some curvy lines and just keep auraing these curvy lines inside this space I made around my string. And when I get to intersections like here, I may stop. And we'll figure out what we're going to do later. We're going to have a few of those spots to deal with. But I'm just drawing these curvy lines with auras to begin. Let's do more of these. I think I could simply skip it if I wanted, and then these will go the opposite direction. So maybe that's what I'll do there. Keep turning my tile as I go around. That lets me have a little bit better consistency in my aura. Kind of got a little wider spaced there. It doesn't really matter because your eye is going to see the pattern, not the individual lines. So we just keep drawing. Focus only on the line we're drawing at this time. Looks like I may have a little problem here where my curves are going to go a different direction. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm hoping that it will just fade away with the shading. Oh, or I might just be fine. Looks like I will be fine. Yay. Okay, so now we have this little rope, I'll call it. And what we're going to do next is we are going to fill these 3 loops with another pattern. I'm going to put a grid pattern in each of these, and I'm going to make the grid kind of big. But I'm also going to try to make it dimensional so that it looks like these shapes are like poofing out, I guess. And that is done just by adding that curve to my grid line. Okay, I think I'm good with that. Now we're going to put the pattern Knightsbridge inside each of these grids, inside the loops. And Knightsbridge is a pattern that alternates black and white squares. Now these are not perfect squares, which is okay. And we're just going to fill in every other one. Now the trick to remembering which one is next is to always do the square that touches the one you just did at a corner. And as long as you do that, you will always fill in the correct one. But just focus on what you're doing in this moment. And I'm using small circular motions with my pen, and I'm trying to not use much pressure, and that allows the ink to just flow out nicely. If you press too hard, you might actually stop the ink altogether from flowing. And if you have a heavy hand like me, you probably experience that. Okay. I'm turning my tile as I draw so that the line is above my pen. I can see it, and that way I don't go over that line. Well, not very much. I'm not perfect, but I don't think anybody is. I know this is not very interesting to watch, but I'm just about done with this first one. And then I'm going to have you pause the video and fill yours in and take all the time you need, because this should actually be a very zen activity as well, just filling in those solid black spaces. So I've got my first one done. I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm not going to make you watch me fill in these spaces. So go ahead, if you're drawing along, go ahead and pause the video now. And when we come back, we'll be able to move on to the next pattern. So pause your video now. I am back, and I have all of my black squares filled in nicely inside of my loops. And so we're going to do another tangle now. This is a tried and true. You've seen me draw many times if you're watching my videos. It is printemps, and it is just a simple spiral. You can make these as big or as small as you like. I'm going to start by just kind of randomly adding these in all of my spaces inside my border. Put another one down here. Okay, so I have my random spattering, and now I'm going to continue to fill in this space, but I will be drawing behind wherever I need to. I might also start making some smaller ones as I try to fill in these spaces. So true to its tangle categorization, we're using Printemps as a filler tangle today. I'm filling in the background spaces with this pattern. Okay, it doesn't have to be completely full. I guess that's good enough. So that is all of our patterns. We have two primary patterns, our Knightsbridge and our Printemps, and then we have this little curved aura lines inside this string that we drew, which makes it look a little bit like a rope. So we are finished now with step 5, the tangles and patterns. Now we're moving on to step 6, which is shading. I'm going to begin by shading around the string or the rope that we created from our string line. That's my first pass, if you will, at putting some graphite down. Now I'm not going to go above here because there's nothing really behind that and it kind of goes off. So I'm just going to leave that. We can always change it later if we want to. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to stop when we get to the edge where there's no more patterns. Okay, now let's just blend this out to begin. Where the edges are. Here. Okay, so that's our first pass at shading, just adding graphite all around the outside of that little rope we drew. So now we're going to come back to the inside of our loops. And I'm not going to put graphite over the black, but wherever there's a white next to the edge, then I'm going to put a little bit of graphite there. And we're just going to go around the perimeter of this loop and put graphite on the white. And last one here. Okay, back to my tortillon. There. Now I'm trying to keep this relatively close to the edge. And I'm trying to keep it off the black, which is not always easy. And this wasn't next to the edge, but it helps. Okay, so what this hopefully is doing is making our Knightsbridge pattern look like it kind of poofs out and it's rounded up with a little bit of dimension there. Turn that all around. And honestly, I don't really think there's a whole lot more shading that we need to do. I mean, if you wanted, you could kind of, if there's some edges like here, so we put a little bit of, just using what we have left on our tortillon. And that is all there is to shading for this one. So that is step 6. And now we're going to move on to step 7, which is initial and sign. And I'm going to turn this around a little bit. I guess maybe I'll make it this orientation, and then I'll put my chop right up here. So my chop is a stylized version of my initials. And it is a B and a C. Put my three little perfs or 3 little dots there. Then we're going to flip it over and I'm going to sign it. I'm going to date it off camera, and then I'm going to name our patterns. So we drew Knightsbridge, and Printemps. And I drew this one. This is my notes. You can always put any notes on the back that you want. I am creating this for my Mindful Monday 49. Step 8 is simply to admire and appreciate what you've done. It's kind of a fun little tile. It's pretty simple, but it's got some nice drama. I kind of like it. I hope you like yours. And appreciate the fact that you took a little bit of time for yourself today. And you brought a little bit of mindfulness into your world. So thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. And I want to remind you, as always, until next time, be you and be happy.